So there's been some leaked images of concept art for a supposed new entry in the God of War series, and this time we're moving away from the Greek Pantheon and going up the Rainbow Bridge of Asgard in what was probably the worst kept secret, or the most requested Pantheon, one of the two. But hey, with this in mind, I figured I'd talk about some stuff that I would really like to see in a brand new God of War game. First off, a brand new protagonist. Now, before we get into this, there are going to be some spoilers for God of War, so if you've never played it before and you want to play it, I'd probably recommend watching something else. Okay, so Kratos has been the protagonist of the last 7 God of War games, and it's a pretty big deal in terms of Sony's exclusives, considering he's one of the big faces for the company. A really big, scary face. He's had some great games, he's had some games I've never played, one game that was pretty decent until you really start thinking about it, and another one which, well, it was alright. Kratos' story is one of betrayal, revenge, moving vases from one end of the bed to the other, and chaos, and ends on a bit of a cliffhanger. He impales himself and releases hope into the world so that it may heal after he pretty much unleashed the apocalypse after a huge murder bender, killing gods left, right, and centre in somewhat brutal fashion. Considering that we're fast forwarding many years and the Greco-Roman Pantheon has pretty much been murderized, I'd love to see a new Pantheon step up to the table, and with that, a new protagonist. Now look, I love Kratos, morally ambiguous as he is, and his story is far from over, but I'm kind of sick of him being the hero. I would love it if we actually keep Kratos in the game and maybe some Greek gods if he reforms for Pantheon, because then we can have a gigantic Pantheon beatdown. Just imagine something like Loki versus Hermes, or Thor versus Hercules, or goddamn, Zeus versus Odin.
I could fight you, Zeus, or I could have a tactical nap. Feeling so sleepy. Good night, buddy.
Granted, the reasoning would probably be incredibly stupid, but it would be sweet. Next up, weapon variants. Now I loved the Blades of Chaos. They're a staple of Kratos' design, they're an awesome set of weapons, and they're hugely adaptive. But once again, they've been the main combat weapon for 7 games. The iconic weapon of this game, if the concept art is anything to go by, seems to be an axe, which is awesome. I love axes. Axes are pretty sweet. But let's expand on that. Look, I'm all for one big iconic weapon, but let's just push the boat out with some other stuff as well. Another thing that would be quite nice is maybe a little bit more representation. Now I know some people might hear this point and start moaning and groaning, but this is my video and this is something I would actually really like to see happen in God of War. God of War can easily be seen as a bit of a hashtag lad bands game. Gonna kill this guy in a brutal as sin way. Gonna look super badass, gonna bang me some muses. Look at me, I'm Big Dick McMurderson. It's honestly getting a little tiring. Now that we're moving towards the Norse side of things, is it a little bit too much to ask for probably some really badass female characters? In recent media we've had characters like Ygritte and Lagertha and Toriel if we're going high fantasy, and Lady Sif if we're going down the Asgard route. I just think it'd be nice for a change to actually have some decent representation going on. I just think it'd be a nice change is all. One thing I would love to see is a really awesome intro sequence again. Now I'm a sucker for really nice motion graphics, and God of War 3 and God of War Ascension had some really nice intros, so let's have another one please, because I'm starting to really like this trend of intro sequences in games, like Tales from the Borderlands had some fantastic ones, The Wolf Among Us had fantastic ones, I'm simply listing Telltale games here. Basically, make an old bearded man feel good and give me a title sequence because shit's dope. Last of all, let's bring back the apocalypse again. Now if we're going down the Norse route for the new God of War game, then a Ragnarok style storyline is inevitable. But what if we take it one step further? If there is one thing I can give God of War 3, it's the way they handled the end of the world. With gods dying, their power over the world dwindled, and everything started going to shit. Everywhere flooded, the dead souls didn't find eternal rest, the sun was blotted out. Basically, shit was fucked. If we're gonna go down this route with a new Pantheon, I'd like to see something just as cataclysmic, like maybe Yggdrasil getting destroyed, or the worlds all combining with each other. It would be like the apocalypse times 1,000, and granted it might be a bit of a carbon copy of the end of God of War 3, but the end of God of War 3 was pretty damn cool, you have to admit. So that's what I want to see in a potentially new Norse God of War. Please don't call it God of Norse, that would just be stupid. But what I would like to know is, what would you like to see in a brand new God of War? Let me know down in the comments down below, and maybe drop a like if you enjoyed it, and share this video around, because that would be proper lovely of you. Anyways guys, that's it from me. I'll see you when I next make a video. As for now, I'm gonna go kill me some frost giants with a Nerf gun. I'm probably gonna die. just imagine like this gigantic Pantheon beat-off. Wait. Don't imagine that, although I'm sure you could Google it.